Congratulations on being selected to work for the company. The first thing you must do before you can get to work is complete your training. But don't worry, it won't be too difficult. So sit back, relax, and pay attention, because if you don't, you might end up dead. We are not responsible for any deaths resulting from the advice in this video. Welcome to the first part of your company training seminar. This will teach you the basic strategies that will keep you and your team alive. Your goal here is to maximize productivity and minimize liability. Why? Because dead employees cannot make us money. Let us begin. Rule number 1, stick together. This one isn't just a team building exercise, it's a survival tactic. However, just because you're in a group doesn't mean you can let your guard down. If one of you gets eaten by a spider, you still need to be able to run away efficiently. Remember, being scared doesn't make us money. Rule number 2, your company lifeline. If you must split up, despite our prior statements, make sure to bring your company-issued walkie-talkie, only for 12 credits. Remember, proper communication is key. See this video for what to do and what not to do. Oh my god, help. Hello, I do believe I am in grave danger. Rule number 3, know your tools. While we do advise that you stay far away from danger, sometimes the danger can find you. In situations like these, it's helpful for at least one team member to be in possession of a shovel or a flashbang. Remember, these tools can be your best friend and your only method of survival. Rule number 4, memorize the map. If you are an employee that is carrying a full inventory of scrap, you are a useless employee if you cannot find your way out. It is not advised to drop items as breadcrumbs, however, as if these items are left behind, the company does not receive profit from them. Rule number 5, this is the golden rule. Do not panic. Panic leads to poor decision making, like jumping into a pit with valuable scrap or dropping all of your loot on the ground. Stay calm, assess the situation, and if you see a monster, relax. You'll know how to handle it later. Rule number 6, know when to retreat. While money is the company's largest priority, sometimes a situation gets so bad that an employee has no choice but to leave. Remember, some scrap is better than none. No amount of scrap is worth becoming monster food unless it really is worth a lot. Rule number 7, use your terminal. Inside of your terminal within your company-issued ship, you can receive information about new monsters, scrap, and route your ship to nearby moons. Remember to head to the company building every 3 days to show your boss what you've collected. Congratulations, you have mastered the basics of survival and money making. Now it is time to meet the people that you'll be working with. No, silly, not your team, the things that want to eat you. Let's take a company dive into some of the monsters that you may encounter. Remember, staying alive increases productivity. The Bracken. These guys just love to sneak up on you and ruin your day. This one's a real stickler about eye contact. If you see one, ensure that you look at it. But not for too long, because if it gets angry, you won't be collecting scrap for us anymore. Next up, we have the Coilhead. Now this one won't leave you alone unless you give it your full attention. The trick is to keep your eyes on it the whole time. Here's a pro tip, assign a teammate to look at the Coilhead while everyone else loots. Now that's teamwork. This little kleptomaniac bug will take your loot and hoard it into a little pile. The best way to deal with this one is to avoid conflict. We wouldn't want HR to get mad now, would we? You can also kill it with a shovel quite easily. Of course, you cannot forget about the Ghost Girl. She'll latch onto you and work you till you're dead. If you hear her breathing, the best thing to do is to run back to the ship and never look behind you. Remember, if you ignore it, it isn't real. Meet the eyeless dog. This guy may be blind, but he has ears like a hawk. Or whatever animal has good ears. The point is, if you make noise, he'll come running. The good news is, he's as blind as a bat. To avoid this problem, just walk slowly and quietly, and for the love of the company, don't drop anything loud. This is the Forest Giant. This big, towering menace is always stomping around like he owns the place. The good news is, well, there really isn't too much good news. If he spots you slacking, he'll come running. The best thing you can do is lay low out of the line of sight. This guy will fire you on the spot. And finally, let's talk about the Jester. This guy may not seem like much, but once it begins to wind its box, it's game over. The Jester loves nothing more than popping out of its box just to kill you. Nothing truly is funnier. And those are just a couple of the monsters that you'll encounter while working for the company. If you see any that weren't mentioned, make sure to scan it and check your log for some more information. It may be difficult to keep track of all of these monsters, but don't worry, I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. Remember, survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about maximizing profits. Good luck out there, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more corporate-approved content. Welcome to the next part of your company-mandated training, Loot management. Remember, it's all about get rich or die trying. The company provides an opportunity for its employees to truly make it in this difficult world. Work hard and you too can be rich, just like our favorite CEOs. Disclaimer, results may vary, most employees will die. Step 1. Scan for profit. When you land your ship, the first thing you'll want to do is use your terminal's scan feature to determine how much money you can make from the scrap in the facility. This number is your target for earnings. Think of it as a daily performance metric. If you don't meet it, well, let's just say the company frowns upon underperformers. Step 2. Prioritize high-value scrap. Not all scrap is created equal. Some items are worth their weight in gold, literally, while others are about as valuable as a used coffee cup. Prioritize high-value loot like gold bars, axles, and cash registers. If you have to leave anything behind, leave the junk. Remember, every pound of scrap you carry is a pound of profit for the company. Step 3. Know when to hoard. There will be times when you don't want to sell all of your scrap. Why? Because quotas get harder, and we at the company always want more. Keeping some scrap in reserve for the future quotas is a smart strategy. The company looks favorably upon employees who plan ahead. Just make sure you don't die before you can cash it in. Dead employees don't get promotions or make us profit. Step 4. Invest in company-issued products. If you make enough money from scrap, you can always reinvest in company-issued products, such as flashlights, walkie-talkies, shovels, and even cruisers. Now, these aren't just tools, they're investments in your future. Think of it as buying stocks, except the stock is your survival, and remember, the more that you spend, the more the company profits. It's a win-win. Step 5. Don't get too greedy. It may be tempting to go for that one last piece of scrap, especially when you know it's worth a fortune. But remember, no amount of money is worth becoming monster food. Know when to cut your losses and head back to the ship. The company values employees who know their limits, mostly because dead employees cannot meet quotas. And there you have it, the company's basics on loot management. Follow those tips and you will be well on your way to meeting quotas, impressing the company, and maybe even survive long enough to earn your own company-issued credits. And if you do die, just remember to do it for the company. Your people will view you as a martyr. Now, let's talk more about your ship. This is your company's sanctuary. Here are some tips to make sure you use it as effectively as possible. 1. Remember to use the radar. Your ship comes equipped with radars that mark scrap and monsters on the map. Use the walkie-talkies to coordinate with your coworkers on the inside of the facility to maximize scrap and minimize corporate liability. 2. Close the door. Remember that when you're in the ship, you're only mostly safe. Remember that if you see something approaching, close your company-issued door. We don't want any unwanted guests now, do we? And 3. Use your terminal. Open doors for your teammates, deactivate turrets, and scan for scrap. Any help from the ship improves worker productivity. It can even be helpful to have one of your teammates stay behind and man the ship, and do all of the ship duties while everyone else loots. Now that you've mastered survival and loot management, it's time to discuss the moons that your company-issued ship can take you to. Think of these as your next corporate assignments: exotic, dangerous, and often deadly. But hey, no one said making credits was easy. Up first, we have experimentation. This moon is your training wheels for your first introduction to the job. Monster spawns are relatively low, but so is the scrap count, so don't stay for too long or you won't be making us any money. Next up, we have assurance. This moon is many beginner employees' best option. Monster spawns are manageable and the scrap spawns are amazing. It's the perfect place to take off your training wheels and start earning some real credits. Just remember, the company loves survival, but it loves profit more. Vow is not for the faint of heart. It's for the overachievers, the go-getters, the employees who want to prove themselves. The high probability of a mineshaft means that the risk is high, but so is the reward. Remember, the company loves overachievers, as long as they don't die trying. Offense is a moon that's almost never worth going to. It's an HR nightmare. Everything here wants you dead, and the scrap is typically not worth the risk. Only the most reckless employees will take on the challenge of offense. March is another great training moon, just like experimentation. But its expansive side, both outside and inside of the facility, means that the scrap is very spread out. But don't let that discourage you. The 3 fire exits make for quick travel and the scrap potential is high if you're lucky. Just watch out for the monsters, they love these wide open spaces. Adamance is the last of the free moons and the one that will give corporate the most value. It's similar to Vow in its high risk and high reward, but here, the risk is higher, and so is the reward. Only the best employees should attempt this moon. Everyone else? Well, let's just say the company has a high turnover rate for a reason. Once you make it through your first quota, you'll have a lot of money to work with. This money can send you to a paid moon. The company charges a high cost for these moons because traveling to them is taxing on the ships. And of course, charging you makes us money. It's a win-win. Rend is the easiest of the paid moons and provides a high scrap turnout. The company loves employees who go to Rend because it proves that they can work with logic and they all make us money. Dine is the worst of the paid moons. The company acknowledges that most employees who travel to Dine will die before they're able to collect any scrap. This moon is designed to weed out the weak employees. If you survive, you're a wonderful employee, and if you don't, well, the company will just find a replacement. Titan is a great option for those who want to make money, but be careful. The high risk means you're at the mercy of the monsters that spawn here. There are also a couple of unauthorized moons that are not listed in your ship's terminal. Please do not go to these moons under any circumstances, and if you find any information on these moons, please ignore it. Going to these moons will result in your immediate termination. You've done it. You've survived the training, mastered the basics, and learned everything the company wants you to know. You are now officially an expert on survival, loot management, monster encounters, and moon navigation, or at least you're as much of an expert as we need you to be. Here are a couple of reminders before we let you put this training to test in the field. Number 1. Stay productive. The company rewards your productivity. The more scrap that you collect, the more credits you earn, and the more credits you earn, the more that the company profits. It's a beautiful cycle. Step 2. Stay alive. Dead employees don't meet quotas. Stay vigilant, work as a team, and always know when to retreat. The company prefers live employees over the dead ones. 3. Stay loyal. Remember that the company is always watching. Unauthorized moons, reckless behavior, and failure to meet quotas will not be tolerated. Loyalty is rewarded. Disloyalty is not. Before this video ends, the company mandates that you subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. On behalf of the company, we would like to congratulate you on completing your training. You are now a valued member of our team. Get out there and make us proud. And remember, the company always comes first. Let your quotas be high and your deaths be few. Good luck out there.